When I was 18, people told me that success, money, and looks don't matter. And believing them was the worst mistake of my life. If I could sit down with my 18-year-old self, these are the 18 brutal, counterintuitive lessons that I would give to him to absolutely crush it and get to where I am 2 times faster. First one, you will die, and the people you're afraid of judging you will die too. You can either feel sad about it or see it as the greatest gift you've ever received. It means that you're absolutely free to do whatever you want. No one cares, and it's great. You see, when I was 16, my grandfather died. And this was a grandfather from the side of my biological father's family. Now, I don't have a relationship with my biological father. I want nothing to do with that guy. But this grandfather was like almost a father figure to me. He inspired me and showed me what a man should be like. Like, he protected and he cared for the people around him, and they abused him, and he had to work until he was very, very old. He had a stroke and he passed away. And I remember going to the funeral and just being absolutely miserable. Like, I couldn't personally take that pain. It was very hard for me, and I spent a lot of the time crying. I remember same day I went for a workout just before the funeral, and I was like doing reps and like crying, right? And I had to go to the changing room, like wipe off the tears, hoping that nobody saw me. I remember standing there and like thinking like, wow, what will life be like right now when like grandpa isn't here? Like, what's going to happen? And the biggest thing that happened, the biggest shock that I had was how quickly people came back to norm. Because after a funeral, there is always this party, right? Where you have food, you have things, like, you know what I'm saying. And at this party, I was just looking around and I realized that no one is thinking about him anymore. Like, the people who came to his funeral, the people who were at the party after the funeral, which closest family, right? Probably closest people to him. I look at these people, like, everybody was thinking what they were going to eat for dinner. Some people wanted to go home. Some people were thinking about work tomorrow. Some people were talking about the news. And then it clicked for me. I realized that I would die someday. And it's probably going to happen faster than I can imagine. And the people that I'm afraid of judging me for like my actions, for what I want to do, will die too. So no one cares. Like, literally, no one cares. And I could either feel sad about it, which maybe in the beginning I did a little bit, especially since I was like bummed out because my grandfather passed away. But I can also look at it as the greatest gift ever, because it means that I am free. I am free to do whatever I want to do. And that freedom is something that enabled me to make the crazy decisions in my life. So starting a business instead of going to university, saying no to going to university because I just didn't see a point. I just like realized that it's not going to matter. Like, the only thing that's going to matter long term is whether I live the life that I wanted to live. Because I will die, so it's probably not going to be that important, even if I fail. And the people who I am afraid of judging me, who are going to say, oh, you made a stupid decision, right? Or something like this, they are going to die too. And after that, everybody will forget. So I just looked at it from the frame of, wow, how wonderful is that? It means that I am completely free to pursue my dreams, fail, and nothing happens, regardless of the judgment of other people, regardless of what they will say about me. And that was a huge unlock that I had earlier than most people. And if I could come back to my 18-year-old self right now, I would just like try to remind him once again of that lesson, because I forgot. I was sure that I was going to live forever. So like, if I could, that would be the number one lesson that I would give to him. The second one, adults don't exist. I learned this lesson when I was about 19. and everybody was talking about going to university and choosing directions. And I had this friend who was like a complete, I don't want to say loser, but yeah, he was a loser. He was like terrible in school. He was very disorganized. Like, I wouldn't give my hamster to him if I had a hamster. And this guy, so we're sitting there, and like he was never good academically. He was never a responsible person, someone that like other people could learn from. And we're sitting there, and he says, "Yeah, do you know what? Like, maybe I will become a teacher." And I just had this shock in me, because I'm like, oh my God, how many teachers did I have who were this exact guy? How many teachers did I have who were like complete mess, a complete nightmare, disorganized, overeating, terrible diet, doesn't make good decisions, doesn't have really any skills? How many people like that, like I had during my career? This is like a bit inspired by George Mack, because I heard him say this many times: adults aren't real, adults aren't real. And this like story, just looking back at it, I realized how meaningful that moment was. But I didn't catch it at the time. I just noticed that like no one knows what they're doing. Literally, no one knows what they're doing. Everybody around you, all the people that you think are like have it figured out and know what they're doing, they don't. They just like make it look good. But everybody is a kid deep inside. And what happens is we have this idea that they're like adults, there are people who have it figured out, right? But no, there are no people who have figured it out. Everybody's pretending. Everybody is just like guessing. And yes, some people make it work, some people don't make it work. But the biggest part about this lesson to me was that I am free to not be perfect. Like, I can do things and fail because no one has it figured out. So if no one has it figured out, it means that I can go out there, I can try, and if I fail, nothing happens. Because no one is perfect. Even the most successful people you're thinking about right now, they aren't perfect. They are also just guessing. Most of it is guesswork. And a lot of it, like these beliefs that they're adults, this just comes from a mentality where you're still trying to find someone who will give you all the answers. You're still trying to find someone who's going to save you. No one is going to save you. No one. You need to figure it out yourself. So don't have this idea that they're like somehow adults. Just like forget about this idea and just realize that everybody's guessing, and you don't need to feel adult to do the things that you want to do. There is no requirement of age. It's just like give yourself the permission. I am giving you the permission to go out there and do whatever you feel like doing. The third one, there is a guy who has half of your IQ, but 10 times the courage, who's making 5 times the money. It's painful to learn, especially if you're an overthinker or like ambitious overthinker. You're trying to consider every decision, you're trying to be intelligent, you're trying to figure out what the plan is, you're trying to control every single variable that you can. Like, what can I actually do to make sure that this plan is going to work out? And you're trying to step by step plan everything. There is a guy who, like, your crazy business idea or your crazy career idea, and he just goes on like a random Tuesday and says, okay, just let me start a business. And he writes a post on Facebook, hey, I've just started a business, do you want to be my customer? And he gets his first customer, just like that, without all the complication. Or there's a guy who you're like, I need to invest in the perfect stock, like I need to read all the financial reports of the companies, and I need to time the market, and you're just like overthinking about it. And there's a guy who just like sends $5,000 to his investment account, invests it in Tesla because it's like trendy in the news, and he just like makes more money than you. That's just the reality. It's a hard one to accept for intelligent people who are failing. Because if you're intelligent and you're failing, you it's like the worst position to be in. You feel all the pain connected with the hyper awareness you have of yourself, of your surroundings, of the world around you. And you you can understand that this guy is way dumber than you. Like, he's stupid, like really, really retarded. But because he's courageous and he doesn't have all that self-talk that you have, like all the time, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to be perfect, all these like fake beliefs, just goes there and does it, he beats you. He makes 5 times the money as you, or he's 5 times more successful than you. And I just realized that if I could choose, if I was offered a choice between intelligence and courage, I would choose courage every single time, because intelligence without courage just makes it more painful to fail. And courage is the most important trait, because it's the one that enables you to try. And if you're not going to try, none of the other traits that you have matter. Nothing matters if you don't pull the trigger and actually try to do something. Fourth one, luck, as people describe it, doesn't exist. You create your own luck by doing and trying. What people call luck is simply the result of effort, skill, and dedication. They use the word luck because they can't see the process. It doesn't mean the process isn't there. And there are basically 4 types of luck. First luck, and I've learned this from Naval Ravikant, is blind luck. Blind luck is what most people would describe as luck, which is you go out on the street and you find $10,000, or you find $1 million in an envelope, or you just find a lottery ticket on the street and you win $1 million. It's blind luck. Like, you get out there, you have no control over it, it just finds you, right? Magically, money appears in front of you. Now, the issue is, if blind luck is the only type of luck that you can think about, that you have an idea about, you will always view other people as luckier than you, and you have no way of controlling the blind luck. So you always feel resentful towards really successful people, because you will just look at them and say, oh, they are just lucky, right? But blind luck is just like the first type of luck, and it's probably the worst one to use. The second one is hustle luck. It's luck that comes from hard work. Now, this type of luck is better, because this type of luck happens when you do so many things, you try so many businesses, that some business eventually has to work. Like, if you try 100 businesses, one is going to work. One is going to be like successful one. Now, here is the problem. If you just go out there and you do pure violence, you do, how much work can I do? How many businesses can I start? And just like keep rolling, start, fail, start, fail, start, fail. And you keep going and going and going and going. You will eventually find the one that works. But the problem is, you don't live forever. So if you try to be the person who like relies on hustle luck, you might die before you get lucky. So it's better than the first type of luck, but it's not the most optimal one. Like, if you're starting out, it's great. You need this in the beginning, the hustle sort of like, just get out there, see what it's all about, experiment. But it's not the only one. And just give me a second. The third one is judgment type of luck. And this type of luck is actually much more effective because it gives you leverage. Judgment luck works like this. If you understand something, you can spot opportunities other people don't see. If you understand how a microprocessor works, or you understand how those NVIDIA chips are going to work in 2015, or like 2012, even earlier, let's say, or like maybe even when they had the first IPO, right? NVIDIA is the biggest company in the world right now. I'm sure you heard about them. They produce all those chips like that do AI. If you understand how that works, you're going to be able to spot an opportunity that other people don't see. You're going to be able to spot an opportunity for creating value. And if you, because of your judgment, you can see that opportunity, you can invest in NVIDIA and now like have one of the biggest the best investments you could have possibly made. Or like if you understand how Bitcoin works before 2013, 2014, when it's like really, really cheap, right? It costs 50 cents and now it's like $60,000, or at the peak it was $120,000. So think about 50 cents, like 1 50-cent Bitcoin turns into $120,000. Because you understand, you see the judgment, you've seen this before, you know what will happen. That's judgment type of luck, right? It's like the investor type of luck. You can analyze the situation, you see more than other people, you make the right decision, you get rewarded for it. And the problem with judgment luck is it has to be developed over time. Like you can't just decide I'm going to have judgment luck tomorrow. That's not something that you do. That's more of a hustle luck thing. Like you can decide, okay, I'm going to do violence, I'm going to do so much work. Judgment luck, you can't really make a decision that it's going to happen tomorrow. It's developed through acquiring knowledge, like being a continuous learner, spotting, analyzing, understanding, trying to view the situations clearly. That's where judgment luck comes in. And the last type of luck, which is the best type of luck, is personal luck. It's luck because of who you are. And here's how it works. Personal luck happens when you're the type of person who attracts your own luck. Now, a simple example would be if you're the only guy who speaks English. Nobody in the world speaks English. Just imagine this. The language has changed. Nobody speaks English. If you're the only guy who speaks English and they find some really important document in English, who do you think they will call? You. Because you're the only guy who can actually do this. So you create your own luck. Like you become lucky. Everybody will call you. Everybody will call you if they have some document in English or they need some help with English. Everybody will call you just because you're the only person who can do this. So you become you create your own luck by becoming unique, by becoming special in something, right? And this is where you have to understand this. You are already unique. You are already special. All it takes is finding a product, finding a market, finding a business where your uniqueness is going to be rewarded. So those are the four types of luck. Blind luck, hustle luck, judgment luck, personal luck because of who you are. Avoid blind luck, like you can't control it. If it happens, happens. Hustle luck is great in the beginning. Judgment luck you develop by being a continuous learner. And what you want is personal luck. It's the luck because of who you are. That's going to be the one that's going to be the most rewarding and in your control. Fifth one, you live in the greatest time in history. Your life is objectively better than that of every single richest person in the last 10,000 years. Napoleon never took a hot shower because they didn't have them. Caesar never had Uber Eats. How could you not be grateful? What a life, man. Enjoy. Realizing that your life is objectively better than the lives of all the richest people in the last 10,000 years is something, man. Actually think about this. Your life right now is better than the life of Napoleon, than the life of Julius Caesar, than the life of Alexander the Great, than the life of Marcus Aurelius, than the life of Friedrich Nietzsche, than the life of John D. Rockefeller, than the life of Thomas Edison. You just can keep naming them all day. Your life is better right now. You have more. They never had hot showers. They never had information available to you like that. They never had an AI chatbot that they can chat to and ask about things. Do you understand how crazy that is? That we can just we have food in the fridge. Really, through 99.5% of the human history, nobody had fridges. You just fight for survival every single day. So be grateful, man. What your timing. You had just unbelievable timing. And it's so mind-boggling to me that people don't see this, that people complain. They say, oh, my life is so bad, poor me, poor me. Man, your life is so good. You don't realize how good you have it. If you just mistimed it, you would be born in like a much worse situation. So appreciate it, feel some gratitude, and enjoy being born in the best time in history ever. 6-1, find a good woman and protect her from the corruption and degeneracy of the world. What you want as a man, and this gets used by all those influencers who show you beautiful women and who were wearing bikinis and they have nice bodies, and you sit there as a young man and you think to yourself, wow, if I could only have this, if I could only have like 4 women who want to be with me and so on. But the truth is, it's so empty. And ask yourself, do I really want a woman who's okay with me having 3 other women? Is that someone who has like is healthy mentally? Is that someone who has the values that I want to give to my kids? Is that someone who's like actually fun to be around? Someone who doesn't really respect themselves? What you really want as a man is you want to find a good woman. And that's not an easy task. I mean, if you look around you right now, there aren't that many good women. Like what you will see mostly is either a women who had their values given to them by the media. So they believe in you don't need a man, or I am a feminist, I hate men, and so on. Like those women that are trying to outcompete you, who are trying to be a man in a relationship. Or you will find a girl who slept with like a very high number of men, who's just like on Tinder all the time and so on. So not an easy task, but you are a sniper. I believe you can find a good woman, especially if you set it up right. Like you here's the thing, how you find a good woman. You find her before you get rich. You find her when you're a bum. You find her when you don't have so much money, because then you know she likes you for you. And you find her before she's had all those experiences that like shaped her up in a weird way, and she's been like brainwashed by the media and everything. That's how you find her. You find her before. Then here's where you step in. You need to be the protector. You need to be someone who's strong enough to allow your woman to feel good with you, to allow her to settle in and relax into her femininity. Because you can't be like feminine, you can't behave like you're a sissy as a man and expect your woman to trust you. You need to be the guy who understands the world around him, who's not surprised by the things that are happening, and who has this deep confidence inside that he can handle any situation. And that's when the woman that you find is going to be able to settle into you more, because she doesn't need someone who's overtly emotional about everything. She doesn't need someone who is scared of everything. Like she herself is scared, because women are more fragile than men naturally. Like think about how dangerous it feels for women to go out, because some man might attack her. Like you never have to worry about this. Like if some man attacks me, I'm going to knock this guy out and I'm going to step on his head. But if a guy attacks her, she's much weaker than most men, even the weak men, right? So they are more fragile, they are more sensitive. She doesn't need someone who's sensitive. She needs someone who's going to become her rock, and that's where you step in. That's where you develop your character. So find a good woman and protect her from the corruption and the degeneracy of this world, because this world is really corrupted and degenerate. So be the shield. Create your own rules, create your own beliefs, and create your own world, and let her step into this. Number 7, you don't see the world as it is. You see the world as you are. Changing yourself is the same as changing the world. And I think that I realized this out of all places when I started driving regularly. Because Here's the thing, and you know this as well as I do. If you drive, everybody who goes faster than you is a crazy maniac, right? Like, look at this guy, oh my God, he's crazy. Everybody who goes slower than you is a grandma who doesn't know how to drive. Like, oh my God, look at this, he's a sissy. So you faster, like, look at this. Faster than you, maniac, crazy, dangerous, reckless. Slower than you, scared, weird, stupid, doesn't know how to drive. Now, what do you think the people in other cars think about you? Well, it depends. The person who's driving slower thinks that you're the maniac, and the person who drives faster thinks you're the stupid grandma who doesn't know how to drive. And this happens with everything, with everybody. You don't see the world as it is. You see it as you are. And if you change how you see yourself, if you change how you are, your world will change inevitably. Negative people see the world in a negative light. Positive people see the world in a positive light. It's not the environment that changes. The world is the same. It stays pretty neutral. It's you who change, your perspective, your lens on reality. So if right now you're living in a world that you don't like, or there's something that you don't like about the world, it tells you more about yourself than it really does about the world. It's like a mirror. So if you want to change the world, quoting Michael Jackson or the whole people, start with the man in the mirror. And if you change the man in the mirror, the reflection will change as well. Number 8, your fear of spending money is literally killing your ability to make money. To get more, you have to sacrifice what you already have. And this is the lesson that I didn't understand for the longest time. And only in the last 2 years did I see how it really works. Because I was so scared of being broke. I was terrified of being a brokey, someone who didn't have money, someone who had no power, who had no agency in the real world. So I read about money, I learned about money, I read all those books and so on. You can see behind me 100 more on my iPad or whatever. And I was always obsessed with money. Especially obsessed with saving money. So when I started my business in the beginning, I was saving like 70 to 80% of my income. I was literally saving everything. Like I was working 7 days per week, every single week, bam, 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 getting paid, but I would never spend it. I would just because I always had this belief that I'm going to lose it all someday. And I need to be ready, I'm going to lose all my customers, which was absurd to begin with. But I was scared of being a failure. I didn't want to be like my father. So I was really obsessed about just getting things done, moving forward. But later, what I realized is that because I don't spend any money, there are 2 big problems. First, I lose motivation. Because when you don't spend money that you earn, earning money stops being rewarding. And if it stops being rewarding, you can only do it for so long. I'm a very disciplined person, but if I don't reward myself for working really hard, I will eventually snap. I will say, oh, I can't keep doing this. So what I realized is that you need to reward yourself. So that's the first part. But the second part is, if you want to make money in business, in investing, all those, especially these 2, those are the ones that I focus on, because those are realistically the only 2 ways where you can make real big money. You need to sacrifice some money first. If you're a business owner, let's say that you're organizing an event, like a concert or something, you literally have to spend all that money to organize event before, and then you sell the tickets after. But you have to put the money on the altar, burn it first, sacrifice it. If you want to open a restaurant, what you have to do is get the rent signed, lease signed for the restaurant, hire everyone, buy the food, prepare the food, spend all that money, and then, only then, can you start making money. So sacrifice comes first. If you want to make money investing, you have to first buy some stocks or Bitcoin, whatever you invest in. But you have to put that money, and there's always a risk that you're going to lose it all. So if you want to make more, you have to sacrifice more. And you start by letting go of that scarcity mindset with money, letting go of that fear of spending money, because that fear of spending money is actively limiting your ability to make more, because you're just like hiding, you're very defensive. Money doesn't go to the people who are defensive and scared. It goes to the people who are confident, who know what they want, who treat it like a mistress who keeps coming back to you. Like she's so in love with you that she's like constantly calling you, and you just don't care. You're interested in your own goals. You're interested in your own, like you have that spine that I know who I am. I don't need a number in my bank account to tell me who I am. So I can do whatever I want. And I know she won't leave because she loves me too much. She's too in love with who I am. So she can scream all she wants. She can tell me she doesn't like me, but she's going to come back. She's going to come back because she loves people like me. Do you understand what I'm saying? That money doesn't go to the person who's desperate chasing it. Money comes to the person who's not afraid of losing money. And by giving up that need for money, you'll allow more money to come to you. Number 9, the only non-negotiable habit, the gym. If you can build your dream body, you can build the life of your dreams. And I say this, and some people go, no, that's not true, that's not true. Especially people who are out of shape, especially people who don't have their dream body. Like, no, that's not true, that's not true. Shut up, really, shut up. Because here's the thing. Yes, fitness is not everything. Like, having your dream body doesn't guarantee you'll have your dream life, obviously. What I'm talking about here is building your dream body requires certain traits and skills. For example, it requires you to be consistent in the gym, meaning you go to the gym no matter if it's rainy outside, if it's sunny outside, if it's hot outside, if you feel happy, you feel sad, you've had an argument with your girlfriend, you had a great night with your girlfriend, whatever, man. It's like this requires you to be consistent. Guess what? Any other big goal, high ambition goal that you want, building a business, becoming an investor, becoming a millionaire, whatever, getting a high paying job, also requires you to be consistent. If you want to build your dream body, you need to learn how to delay gratification. You need to say no to the donuts and cookies, and to say, I will eat this chicken breast and broccoli, even though I don't want to, because it's more important to me than cookies and donuts. Now, guess what? If you want to start a business, you need to say, I can't spend money on holiday right now. I need to spend money on books or in inventory, or I need to create a fund that's going to be my safety fund, my nest egg that I can spend if something bad happens with the business. It's the same skill. So it's not that, oh, come on, it's not true. Like, if I have my dream body, I'm not going to have my dream life. All I'm saying is, if you're fit and you have the skills to build your dream body, you 100% can build your dream life, because it's the same skills, just applied. Like, it might take longer, cool, of course. But that one skill is going to, like, those, it's not the one skill, but that like one achievement requires all the skills and traits that any achievement does. So if you become good in this one, you can murder all the other ones. Number 10, it's better to be alone than in company that brings your vibration down. Cherish the moments in solitude. It's where all the greatness is born. You know, eventually you realize that you're alone at the end of the day. You're alone, and the person who cares about you the most is you. Like, literally, no one will care more about you than you. So you need to learn to love the moments when you're alone with yourself, because those are the moments where all the great ideas and inventions and things happen. When you put that energy into yourself, when you stop giving it away to other people, when you stop trying to make everyone happy, but you start asking, what do I want? What's my priority? And realizing that it's better to actually be alone than be in company of people who don't value that, who don't value what's important to you. Like, I would much rather be completely alone than be in a group of friends who don't respect my goals, who laugh at my dreams, who don't support me actively. Because at least alone, I can take all that energy that I am spending and just draw it into myself and use that to push towards my goals. And I know that this is where the greatness is born. There is a fucking reason why a bus has 9 T-Says or like whatever a bus has, and like a Ferrari only has 2. It's lonely at the top. And if you have a brain that's, you're like thinking about the world and you see the world differently, sorry to break it to you, most people will not relate to you and you will not be able to relate to most people. So you have to be alone. You have to be ready to be alone. And don't try to sacrifice who you are just because you feel a bit lonely. Learn to love that loneliness, because all the things you've ever wanted are in that loneliness, sitting with your own thoughts, with your own ideas, and with your own spirit, and letting it guide you towards the things that you truly want. Number 11, it's not about being like Sean Connery or Daniel Craig. People love debating who's the best Bond. It's about allowing yourself to be the best version of yourself. If you're outgoing, be outgoing. If you're serious, be serious. There is no one like you, literally, no one. Give yourself the gift of authenticity and lean into who you are. People love debating this. Who is the best Bond? Oh, it's Connery. Connery is so relaxed. He's so outgoing. He's funny. Daniel Craig is too reserved. He's like too serious to be Bond. Like, he has problems. He has love. And I look at all this and I say, like, is there something wrong with you mentally? Like, really? It's not about being like Sean Connery. Like, if you're a guy, like, I want to be like Sean Connery. It's not about being like Daniel Craig either. It's about figuring out who do I want to be? Like, who am I? And then leaning into that, like going into that place, like, who am I really? Am I outgoing? Maybe I am. Am I a little bit reserved? Maybe I am. Do I care about emotions? Do I not care about emotions? Figure that out and lean into that. Because here's the thing about Connery and Daniel Craig's Bond in this context. A real James Bond doesn't give a fuck of what you think about him. He doesn't. If he's outgoing, he's outgoing. If he's shy, he's shy. But he will not think about, I need to be like this guy because he's better than me. No, that's the one thing he will not do. So lean into who you are. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to be like this Bond or that Bond. Don't try to be like Sean Connery. Don't try to be like this guy. Who am I? And then lean into that. That's your superpower. That's where you become unique, and that's where your personal luck, lesson number 4, can find you. Where you lean into who you are, into your authenticity. Lesson number 12. A retarded plan executed with full conviction to the end beats a genius plan that never happened. Do you know, I've had many times in my life where I made a genius plan about something, but I never actually started doing the thing. And I always felt this pain about what could have been. And then I realized that the people who were like way ahead of me in business or in success, the people I was comparing myself to, their plans weren't actually better. They just like were executed. And it's coming back to the same theme, but if you get a retarded or like a stupid plan, but you execute it with conviction and you actually go through with it to the end, There's nothing that can stop you. And that plan that's stupid, that's retarded, is going to be the genius plan that never happens. In the stock market, let's say, in investing, if you have a guy who's dumb and he just puts all his money in S&P 500 biggest American companies, and he just does it every month, bam, 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 bam. And you're the super genius who tries to like cheat the market. Guess who's going to have a bigger portfolio? The retard, the idiot, because he executed his plan. You never invested. You're just reading like, oh, I need to find the perfect company. I need to find the perfect investment. This is not such a good time. How much has being overtly concerned about everything benefited you? How much? Like truly. Where did it truly benefit you? It hasn't benefited me. So I know that I'd rather I take like an idiot, retarded plan, but that I can execute easily to the end with conviction every single day over the genius plan that never happens. Number 13, rich isn't what car you drive or where you live. It's living life on your own terms, absolute freedom and control. Never give up your power for a silly status symbol. This is my main value, freedom. And people optimize for cars. I look around at people my age, like literally people who I went to high school with or something. And I see all of them are getting status symbols. They are getting a car, they are getting a mortgage, they are getting like whatever the status symbol is, so that like their parents like pat them on, hey, good boy, good girl, nice, good job, like, and everybody's happy. But I never wanted that. I never wanted to be like, I don't need anybody to pat me on the head. And I've noticed, so I leased my first car when I was 18. Sorry, fucking hell, mate. When I was 20, I leased my first car. And it wasn't a big amount, but I had to pay like money every month for this car. And I'm so happy that I did this with a smaller amount of money, not like a big decision, like a house or something, because I just realized that I just put like literal handcuffs on me because I had this cap on what I was able to do because I need to pay for this car every single month. And like, of course, people are like, oh, look at you, oh, you have a nice car, oh, new car, wow, great, man, great, right? That's like, all of them will do this. But here's the thing, I wasn't like happier. Like after some time, it's like it just becomes the car that you drive. After 1 week, after 2 weeks, it's just the car that you drive. But the cost has to be paid forever. And I see people all the time trading their freedom, trading their like ability to do things, to move, go somewhere else, change your career, say fuck you to the person you don't like. Hey, I don't want to work with you, I don't like you. They trade that. They trade that for a silly status symbol. No, my definition of rich is not the car I drive. It's not the place that I live. My definition of rich is having absolute freedom and control. It's being able to live life on my own terms, whatever the terms are. I'd rather be a poor guy, but no one can tell shit to me. Like, I don't need status, but I decide about myself. Like, if you have a golden color, like, it doesn't matter, man. Doesn't matter. You're still a slave. If you have to clock into work every day and people can tell you what to do, but you drive a BMW and you live in a, like, I don't want that life. If you want that life, feel free to do this, But it's not what I want. No, man. Like, I don't need that. I don't need the validation. I don't need, oh, look at you, you're such a good boy. I don't need that validation. What I want is decide about myself. That's it. And does it mean I take a hidden status? Maybe. But I don't really care about status because I realize that, and this like, it's all ties in together. Everybody's going to die. I'm going to die. People around me are going to die. The people who I'm scared are judging me or giving me status are going to die. So I'm never going to trade my own freedom and the ability to live life on my own terms for validation of someone who is going to come to my funeral, and at the party after they will think about, okay, what will I eat for dinner, or what I will do, can I go now, right? Because the funeral has passed. Like, No, man, no. So don't give up your freedom for a silly status symbol. Rich is being able to decide about yourself. Number 14, your number one advantage is ruthless speed and execution. There is no time to wait. Live your dreams right now or accept that they will never come true. You know, we don't really have that much time. I think the average human lifespan is 4,000 weeks. That's all we get. And you've already used up some weeks, and I've already used up some weeks. So we don't have that much time left. And I realized that the only advantage that I can have, the biggest advantage that I can have is how can I live my dreams faster? How can I bring that vision of me living the life that I want today? And if I can do that, I'm getting more out of the time that I have. Because truly, I've noticed that time from 18 to 24 passed like this. And I realized the time from 24 to 30 will probably go in faster. So, and this was a huge part of me starting to create content. It was a huge part of me starting to treat my business in a different way. Because I realized that I don't have that much time. And if I don't start living my dream life right now, I have to accept that it will never come true. Because as scared as I was to start recording these videos, to start building my business in a different way, I realized that if I have a wife in 10 years, it's going to be even harder there. I knew how terrified I was. But how much more terrifying would it be if I had to pay for a kid or for a mortgage and so on? So live your dreams right now. Speed and execution, especially when you're young. The faster you can start, the faster you can succeed. Don't try to have this okay, first I will do the safe thing, I will build up and then I will later. No, that means it's never going to happen. If you have a dream, you got to protect it. You got to fight for it. And you start fighting for it by saying no to all the other shit that's not your dream. That's not the thing that you want to do. Even if it means people rejecting you, even if it means people laughing at you, even if it means disappointing people in your life. All the other versions of you that they have in their head have to die in order for the one version of you that you want to live. Start now. Start early. Speed and execution. Don't wait. Live your dream life right now. Number 15. People who are realistic are always the most miserable. Because they sold their dreams for an illusion of security. They gave their soul away because they were too afraid to fail. Everybody who makes it is a bit crazy. It's a bit... Because realistic people never approach hard things. They don't try. They'd rather have a safe $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 job per year. Push for something harder. And they are always the most resentful as well. Because, they sold their dreams, the things they really wanted to do, for an illusion of security. Because that job seemed more socially acceptable. It seemed like the safer path. It's not really a safer path. I always say this, but if you have a job, one person can fire you. If you have a business, you have 100 customers. If one customer doesn't like you, you have 99. Who gives a fuck, right? But if you have only one, well, that's a hard situation to be in, right? So realistic people who say, oh, you need to get on the ground, you can't stop with all that business nonsense, stop with all that I'm going to be a professional investor nonsense. They sell their dreams for an illusion of, if I just do what everyone else does, I'm going to be safe. But what everyone else does is a recipe for misery. So don't give your soul away. They give their soul away because they're too afraid. They are too afraid of choosing their dreams and being wrong. I don't give a fuck. If I'm wrong, so be it. So be it. At least deep down I know that I tried. Deep down I know that I gave it my all. And that's enough for me. Even if I fail, but I have the belief deep inside that I did what I could have. I know that I didn't sell my dreams, sell my soul just to feel safe. I'm okay. I'm fine with it. 16. Win at any cost. Never let others shame you for your advantages. Shamelessly use everything in your arsenal. Losers focus on other players. Winners focus on winning. I had this thing where I wanted to play myself down, to not show my advantages. Like people said, oh, you have like good hairstyle and you're like slim, you're like jacked, right? So people want to listen to you, and I tried to hide it. I tried to be like everybody else because it felt like I was somehow like using my advantages that were unfair. I speak a different language than people in my country, so that's an advantage. And I tried to make content only in my country's language because I felt it was unfair to create content. But then I realized all those guys who I'm like trying to be fair to, or like the advantages that I'm not trying to use, like they wouldn't do this. They would take everything they have. If they could take me out, then they would take me out. And the truth of the matter is, if you have advantages right now and you're not utilizing them, there is a guy who's going to take everything you've ever wanted and he's going to shamelessly use everything he has. Everything. I mean, everything. He's going to use his parents' money, he's going to use his connections, he's going to use your weaknesses, he's going to use your relationship with this person so that he can ruin it. Like, they are going to kill you. They don't care about you. So you need to win at any cost. Don't feel ashamed. If you've got great genetics, use your great genetics. If you were rich when you're young, use it. If you've got rich parents, use it. I hate Nopo babies, but if you've got rich parents, use them. Use every single advantage that you get. If you are born in a better city, use that. Don't try to like limit your advantages. Look at yourself, ask yourself, where are my advantages? And then shamelessly use them. Because here's the thing, no one cares how you win. They just care if you won. Right? If you win, people will not ask you how it happened. Look at the World Cup is happening right now. Do people care that like France had like all refugees and like most of the players who play in the team probably don't have French background? Not really. They just care that they're like beating everyone and dominating and scoring multiple goals, and they just look like better team. Nobody cares. Nobody cares where they come from. They only care about the result. So you might as well use all the advantages that you have, shamelessly, with no guilt. 17. It's not about the number of hours in your life. It's about the amount of life in your hours. 30 years of living like a tiger is better than 8 years of living like a donkey. I just heard this. Somebody posted this on Twitter, and they say, if you sleep 8 hours or 6 hours, like you get this many years of life more. And I look at this and I'm like, yeah, logically it makes sense. It really does. You live longer. Here's the thing. You're lethargic throughout the day. You don't have as much energy. And a variable that all these people who are obsessed with longevity, how long you live, like balance, don't stress, or whatever, that what they miss is one very crucial variable, and it's quality of life. It's not only how long you live, it's like how good your life is. And it's not about the number of hours. Like if I gave you 20 years more, but that 20 years you knew you were sick and you couldn't get out of bed, would you actually take it? Or would you take maybe a little bit shorter life, but you're fully capable till the end? You're fully happy with who you are. You can do the things that you want to do. So don't try to optimize for the length. Do what you can. Do what you can. If you can, live longer, great. But look at quality of life as well. Look at what you can do, like how much intensity, emotion, satisfaction, enjoyment you get out of life. Not only how long. Because here's the thing. So if I just stayed with my business, first business that I started, one-on-one coaching, I could probably make money forever with that business. Like realistically, I think I could just like keep rolling. But was I happy with it? Was that really what I wanted to do? I had bigger dreams. And I realized that, okay, maybe I'll go bankrupt if I take a risk. Maybe, just maybe I'm making a mistake. But I'd rather risk it and maybe my career in business will be shorter. I'll fail. But at least I'll live like a tiger, not like a donkey who's scared of everything. It's not the amount of hours in your life. It's about the amount of life in your hours. 18, the last one, stop living in fantasy land. Stop dreaming, planning, and imagining how great it will be. Nothing happens unless you make it happen. Ruthlessly focus on realizing your potential in reality instead of contemplating how great it could be. The biggest mistake I made when I was 18 was living in the future, was living a vision that wasn't true. I was planning, I wanted to record content like I am recording content right now. I wanted to make money online. I wanted to invest. I wanted to do all of those things, but I never did. I just fantasized about them. And if I would have started, I started much later, like 3 years later, and because I went for the safer route, I would have made so much more progress, and I would have been so much happier in those 3 years. So don't live in fantasy land. Stop dreaming, planning, thinking about how great it will be in the future. Just focus on realizing your potential right here and right now. And most importantly, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of all the work you've done. I'm proud of how hard you're trying. And I know you will be successful. And that list is just supposed to give you the lessons that I wish someone gave me without having to get the scars that I got for them. You're unbelievable, remarkable. Keep being great. You're on the right path. Focus. Don't be afraid of shit. And the world is yours, my man.